Howdy.
Welcome to the Kobe Bryant Film Room, and as you guys noticed, that's the new intro. Shout out to DJ Keytronics for the music, y'all. If y'all haven't, go subscribe to DJ Keytronics. That's the California Love remix. That's a Kobe Bryant tribute edition, right? So go subscribe to him, man. He showed me love since day one, right? Before I had any subscribers, before I had any attention. He showed me love, y'all. So I'm always gonna shout out his page. Plus, he's one of the best, I think, at making remixes, at making new mixes to different records with a little funky twist. You know what I'm saying? DJ Creatronics is nice, so go check him out as well. I'm always gonna shout out his material. And Big Dog Talk Sports. If y'all haven't, go subscribe to Big Dog Talk Sports. He's doing big things. He got y'all covered on football, basketball, boxing, whatever, right? You name it. Horse racing, you know what I'm saying? You name it, right? So I wanted to go through this ESPN Classic Sports Century documentary that they did on Kobe Bryant, man. To me, I think it's necessary to go through this because it gives you a historical context of everything that happened in this dude's career. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Without further ado, let's go.
Fowler for Sports Century. Like the Japanese steakhouse for which he was named, Kobe Bryant was a product of privilege and was prepared for one purpose: to please the palate and satisfy the appetite.
That's crazy, man. They actually named him after a Japanese steakhouse. It's crazy, bro. Like, imagine going out to eat, just coming up with a random name because it sounds good to you, but everybody will later on know this one person by that one name. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to say Kobe's last name. He's that famous. You know what I'm saying? When you say LeBron, he's that famous. You know what I'm saying? So these guys' names stick and it rings bells. And it's almost as if it was meant to be. You know what I mean?
Raised in Italy by an extraordinarily close family, he was composed far beyond his years, possessing such flair that some dared make comparisons to Michael Jordan. Bryant leaped directly from high school to the NBA. The landing was not pain-free, but he has persevered and now has a game as distinctive as his name.
Kobe and Mike.
I'm not Michael Jordan. There'll never be another Michael Jordan. He's the greatest player of all time, and nobody can fill his shoes.
Y'all hear that? Bean said nobody can fill his shoes, right? And Bean right there is being humble. You know why? Because that's the big brother, man. That's Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Jordan was setting the league on fire. Jordan was accomplished by that time Kobe came into the league. You know, Jordan already three-peated. He did everything he could have accomplished in basketball during that time period. So Kobe's looking at Mike, and Mike's up here. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, we all know that Kobe Bryant would tell guys like Lamar Odom behind the scenes, hey, yo, I'm better than Mike. You know what I'm saying? But he would never say that to the media. He always showed, it's Mike, it's those before me, then me. You know what I'm saying? But as us as fans, we're going to chop it up, dissect that, and measure it and all that stuff. That's why, like me personally, when somebody says Mike is the greatest or the GOAT, I don't say shit. I'll challenge them a little bit on some points, but I'll only go too far because I have respect for Michael Jordan, and I know that Michael Jordan, if anybody has a case, it's him. You know what I'm saying? So I fall back on the Michael Jordan stuff because Michael was that great. You know what I'm saying? He was that great, y'all. And so there's other guys. Kareem, it's not all about Mike. It's not all about Kobe. There's other guys who could be considered the greatest players of all time. Kareem, Wilt, you know what I'm saying? LeBron, his name is floating around there. Freaking Oscar. Some people got Oscar. You know what I'm saying? Some people got Bill Russell, right? Who am I forgetting? Uh, those names ring bells. If I forgot anybody, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do all this from the top of my head.
Anybody who comes into the league with a game that at all emulates Jordan's has been compared to Jordan. And I think Kobe was just one in a line of guys who's got some incredible game. Maybe this is the next one.
We got to find the next superstar. We've got to make this guy the next somebody. Where in the old days, they didn't make you. You made yourself. Just terrible.
And that's right. You know, Kobe had to earn it just like everybody else. And a lot of dudes was upset, but particularly Kobe's teammates. Man, they were upset. They were looking at this nigga like, whoa, yo, why can't we haze this nigga? You know what I'm saying? He's getting preferential treatment because y'all comparing this nigga to Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And so that brung in a little bit of animosity. Like, yo, this dude, Kobe, is the showboat. You know what I'm saying? That was another nickname for Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Just showing off flashy moves. And you know, he's supposed to be that guy, quote unquote. And so a lot of guys looked at him and was like, nah, man, he walking like Michael Jordan. You know, chewing gum like Mike. That nigga ain't done nothing yet. He ain't done shit yet. And Kobe had to earn it. Kobe had to prove it. You know what I'm saying? But I think nowadays it's even worse. Dudes is getting crowned at earlier ages and they haven't done shit. You know what I'm saying? I just looked at the ESPN poll. They had Wembanyama higher than Westbrook, I believe. This shit's crazy, bro. He ain't done shit yet. He's playing great in preseason, but he ain't done shit.
To try to put him in a class with Michael Jordan when he hadn't played a game. Michael Jordan's the greatest player that ever played. And Kobe Bryant is making his own reputation, and he's trying to establish his own identity.
There was a media feeding frenzy. I just thought that was not a thing to do to young Kobe. Let this young man develop into the extraordinary talent that it appears that he's going to develop into. And then we'll all enjoy the ride.
Not guarding Michael Jordan, not guarding Kobe also. Really can't tell the difference from them apart.
Hey, to the dick riders out there, you heard what Stacey Augmon said? Now, Stacey Augmon was a serious guy, a serious defender back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Stacey Augmon played against both of these gentlemen right here on your screen, and he said he couldn't tell the damn difference. Now, y'all always say, oh man, Kobe's not even top 14. He's not even top 20, all this other silly ass, goofy ass shit, right? When the players who played against them said they couldn't even tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? They had the same demeanor. They had the same fear factor. You know what I'm saying? They had the same tenaciousness. And they had the same skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody knew what Michael Jordan was going to do when he had the basketball. You just couldn't stop him. It's a different situation with Kobe. You don't know what he's going to do because he hits you with so many different ways.
That's right. Bean was unpredictable as fuck. Bean will try shit on you. I think Michael was more reserved and he was just more to the point. He wasn't. Bean was okay. I'm about to try something on your ass. I'll try this nigga. I'll try this shit on you, bro. Don't play with me.
Usually a couple times a
And
game.
Mike showed out too, but he kind of stuck to his game. You know what I'm saying? He kind of stuck to that mid-range pull-up, good to the basket. But unless somebody pushed Mike was like looking at that nigga like, this nigga can't fuck with me. But I think with Kobe was like, yo, I'll really try this shit, bro. Don't play with me, boy.
Kobe will do something where I'll just go, God, it look just like Michael.
Quick move to the hoop, Kobe Bryant. That's his game.
When he first came to the league, he had a full head. Now everyone's paying him Mike. His tongue came out his mouth. They blew that up. Like, yeah, he took his tongue out like Mike.
And a lot of people don't understand where that came from, right? That came from, I'm going to give you guys a little Kobe history lesson, right? Because I know Kobe's whole career like the back of my hand, bro. So, Nike and Adidas were in an arms race to get Michael Jordan, right? Adidas fucked that deal up. Didn't believe in Jordan and didn't give Michael Jordan the contract that he deserved, right? So they fucked that deal up, right? So Nike comes in and signs Jordan, boom. The whole brand explodes and goes global, right? So Adidas They fucked up the Jordan deal, so now they're looking for another Michael Jordan to make up for all the fucking revenue they lost, right? So Kobe comes in and they have their lips. They just smacking their lips because they're like, yo, we got another guy right here looks like Jordan. So what they did was they had Kobe doing all the Michael Jordan things. That's why Kobe walked like Mike, talked like Mike, chew gum like Mike, because it was Adidas' way of marketing the new Michael Jordan. That was all marketing. Now, as you see later on, Kobe goes away from that. You know what I'm saying? He starts being more of himself. But in the beginning, that's all marketing. They were pushing Kobe as the next Michael Jordan. And so that's because they fucked up that deal.
You know, he came in, won a dunk contest his rookie year, and people were like, you know, he wants to try to be like Mike too much.
Deep down inside, I think he thought he was great because here you got a 17-year-old kid compared to the greatest player in the world.
If you know the Lakers situation, they called him 23. That's his nickname. It was like the second coming of Michael Jordan. Whether he liked it or not, I don't know, but he didn't shy away from it.
Hell no, he flourished in this shit. That shit probably made him want to go harder because, bro, being compared to Mike, bro, you got to prove that shit. And a lot of niggas fell short.
That's a big misconception. I've had my game at
A lot of people fell short.
Growing up, I studied Michael as I studied Magic, as I studied Larry. And being 6'6", some of the moves that he uses on the court, well, obviously benefit me a great deal.
And so for the Dick Riders, right? I want to talk to the Dick Riders real quick. And I'm talking about Jordan Dick Riders, right? Jordan did not create Kobe Bryant, right? Jordan inspired Kobe Bryant and Jordan mentored Kobe Bryant. Jordan was Kobe Bryant's big brother, right? He took Kobe under his wing. So Kobe took from everybody, right? Kobe took to Gary Payton. Shout out to Gary Payton. Kobe worked on defense, and Gary Payton showed him different moves on defense in order to make him and KG, right? In order to make the game easier, you know, defensively. And that's when Kobe took off and made defensive first teams. Him and KG went off after that, right? Then you had Reggie Miller during the summertime. Reggie Miller showing Kobe different things, how he gets open and things like that, separation in the summertime, right? Then you have Hakeem Olajuwon. Kobe worked out with Hakeem. Kobe already had the great footwork, right? He already had the great footwork, but he wanted to hone his post skills, right? And you see Kobe take off from that point forward. His post skills was unbelievable after that. He was already great, but he went to a whole nother level, right? Took his game to a whole nother stratosphere. And so that's the thing, right? He took from everybody. Eddie Jones taught him things in practice. You know what I'm saying? Kobe took that. Allen Iverson, you see Kobe doing the left-right crossover. He studied AI's game. He studied everybody's game, and he took from everybody. You know what I'm saying? Whatever power you had, like Space Jam, Kobe was trying to steal your powers and turn it into his own. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you ask for a great basketball player. You know, you guys say, oh man, he's cheap imitation. Bro, why not imitate all those people who are great? You know what I'm saying? Why not take from these dudes and add to your style? You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to be the greatest ever, why not take from the greatest players ever and make it all into one player? Kobe was trying to be all of them in one, right?
Emulate all of the big guys, but it was evident. The blueprint of Michael Jordan was right there. He wanted to be the tracing paper.
If Michael took 500 jump shots, he took 1,000.
Yeah.
If Michael got up and worked out at 8, Kobe was working out at 7:30.
That's right.
So he was trying to catch up to that and be beyond.
We were playing for hours and hours just dreaming about what we will be. And he was Michael Jordan every time.
Kobe Bryant worked to make his...
Kobe's like, yo, I'm finna come in this league and bust these niggas' ass. And here's another quick historical lesson too. I don't know if y'all remember, but one of the reasons Kobe said he wanted to come out of high school early, which probably inspired him to come out of high school early, was to play Michael Jordan, right? He didn't want Mike to retire because remember, Kobe came out in 96, right? In the 96 draft. he didn't want Jordan to retire before he got to play against him. Now, that's competitive, bro. Niggas were scared of Michael Jordan. Niggas had fear of Michael Jordan on that court. Niggas wouldn't even look Michael Jordan's direction. They called this nigga Black Jesus. Now, I'm not calling nobody Jesus, but that's the kind of fear that he had on a basketball court, bro. Niggas were shook. You know what I'm saying? Of Michael Jordan, they were shook.
Court dreams a reality. He was already savvy at the tricky game of public relations.
Kobe has this composure at age 17 and 18 that is completely belying his actual age. He's very good at speaking with the media. And
that's the thing about Bean, right? Being raised in a household with a professional basketball playing dad, you know what I'm saying? You get to learn how to deal with the media before you deal with the media. And so I think LeBron James also at an early age, he knew how to deal with the media because he had PR teams and people to train him before he got to the NBA, right? So these dudes already knew their destiny when they were in high school. You know what I'm saying? The goal was the NBA. You know, a lot of guys who play in high school, they're not sure they're going to get to the NBA. Matter of fact, a lot of the goals is, hey, I'm going to get to college and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can get into the league. Kobe knew from the moment he stepped forward on a fucking high school court in a high school gym, yo, I'm going pro. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. LeBron knew that shit too.
Something about it that even that was Jordan-like.
He was way ahead of his time. I can remember distinctly watching him on the back of the bus, you know, where everybody else is reading Sports Illustrated or a sports section of the paper. He has Time magazine, but 18 years old.
Meeting Kobe for the first time outside the House of Blues in LA, he called me sir. Very well-mannered young man. He understands certain things about the business that could only have come from living the life that he lived under his father and his family. He's the son of a pro. He's seen his father's transition through. It's like Barry
Right.
Bonds.
They see the game differently, bro. The son of pros. You look at Devin Booker, Melvin Booker. You know what I'm saying? You look at Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are prepared to deal with the NBA. They have a leg up on all the other competition because they had family in the league who could give them pointers and tips. You know, creating separation. You know, footwork, tips like that, and they get private workouts with an NBA level player at their house. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times. So that's an advantage. That's a huge advantage.
Ken Griffey Jr. These guys who come from that, you know, who I guess step into their father's life, understand what to stay away from.
After signing a lucrative 5-year contract with Adidas before he even played in his first NBA game, Bryant was embraced by a media in the hunt for another Jordan.
Please welcome Kobe Bryant.
This is a guy whose popularity is right up there with Jordan's and whose commercial appeal is up there.
Kids don't dress like that no more. He had a whole suit out there.
Charisma and whose personality are all on that same plane.
You don't have to cut the lawn ever again, did you?
But see, now the good thing about it, I get to give my parents allowance.
Yeah, oh, you'll give them allowance. You got a new car 2 years ago.
Now you forgot to take the trash out. You gotta work with me here.
Growing up in the suburbs, not necessarily being viewed as a street kid, he has a crossover appeal. He's a GQ cover guy, and yet when he's on the court, he plays like any kid.
He plays viciously. He shows no mercy. He's a killer, an assassin, a dog. You know what I'm saying?
In any inner cities.
Kobe's marketability is probably the same as MJ's was. Back in MJ's earlier years, both guys were attractive to the public, not involved in a lot of scandals.
Hey, I can play.
You see how they used to campaign Kobe? You know what I'm saying? Like they used the MJ strategy to show him with the kids and this, you know, sociable personality, this great family guy, you know what I'm saying? That's how they marketed Kobe earlier in his career. Now that changed, you know, after the Colorado incident, and we're gonna get to that.
Not bad.
He's tall. What do you think? Hey, if we win, we get to go to McDonald's. So don't worry.
Beyond his early success at the Fame game, it was Bryant's passion on the court that triggered references to greatness.
Kobe Bryant is an unbelievably competitive person. And if there's one area that he reminds me of to some degree, that would be in the competitive area to Michael Jordan.
Despite the fact he's played in pain.
No one wanted to win more than Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan on that court. Period.
He loves the ball at the end of the game. And you sort of know he's going to get it. That's very Jordan-esque in a way.
He has enormous respect for Michael. Michael has a lot of respect for him. Michael really respects perfection.
Michael loved Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Because he saw himself in Kobe. You know what I'm saying? He saw a young dog who was hungry. You know what I'm saying? He won't backing down. The other dude's kissing Michael Jordan's ass. And look, man, bro, like the respect levels off the charts. You could go check the memorial service that Michael Jordan did for Kobe, and you could tell he was honestly choked up because they had such a great relationship. You know, going out to eat, going out to dinners, you know, having long conversations about the game. You know what I'm saying? And over the years, they created the brotherhood, man, and Mike loved Kobe to death, and Kobe loved Mike.
Greatness.
He speaks to Michael. He asks advice about how to deal with teammates, how to deal with media, how to deal with life, how to deal with being famous. He wanted to take the things that Michael Jordan did that made him successful and apply them to himself.
In his second season with the Lakers, Bryant, at 19, was the youngest player ever to start in an All-Star game.
Y'all hear that? So he made history. So all this shit about people saying, oh, Kobe didn't even start. He wasn't good enough. No, he was good enough. You know what I'm saying? His coach was an ass and didn't play him barely any minutes his rookie season. Now, you had Eddie Jones, but it's still no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Not to be playing this dude who has all this talent.
Across the floor stood the man who would take his measure.
There are full-page ads taken out. NBA, All-Star Game, East, West, Kobe, Michael. Kobe embraced it, as Kobe does. And he embraced the moment, too. He's got the ball in his hands again.
Hey!
I watched him go at MJ. I've never seen that. He let everybody know what was to come. And if you had any question about who was to take the seat, it was going to be him.
And he took the seat. Now, Mike didn't want to give up the seat, obviously, at that time, and he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Mike said, I'm not done yet. I got to win a couple of more. But Mike saw that, oh, this dude's coming. This dude's for real coming, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? No doubt about it. I'm going to start helping him now. You know what I'm saying? As far as I need to pass the torch. Because Mike understands, Mike took the ambassador role and he took his role as the face of the league to heart. He knew Kobe was going to be the new face of the league. So he was already prepping to pass it to him, which is what you're supposed to do. Like Kobe would have did the same thing for LeBron James. You know, as he tried to do, hey, you're coming up. I'm going to hand this to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I'm going to hand this to you. You know what I'm saying? The problem is when LeBron was in his prime, he met Kobe in his prime. And Kobe was still winning. That's the problem with the LeBron stuff. And you know what I'm saying? So Kobe was in really a unique situation with Jordan because Jordan was on his way out when Kobe came in.
Although Jordan was named MVP of that 1998 All-Star Game, Bryant's 18-point performance favorably impressed the man whose crown he sought.
Yeah, it was a good battle, actually. It was fun. He attacked, and I like his attitude.
You won't find a better competitor in the history of sport than Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
At both ends of the floor. Kobe will get there. Kobe's an outstanding competitor offensively. When Kobe learns to work both ends of the floor, Kobe's going to be lights out.
Kobe's probably the only player
And he did.
out there that really believes he can actually have a better legacy than Michael Jordan.
If you think of Michael Jordan, when a lot of people thought he was at his peak, as far as wisdom and cunning and skills and seeing the game, he was in his early 30s.
Now, this is before the stat nerds came into prominence, right? So before Kobe even picked up a basketball, people were comparing him to Mike. It had nothing to do with numbers. Now, keep in mind, championships, players were judged by championships, but it wasn't the same back then. Like, people looked at your ability. Like, I think Michael Jordan, after his second championship or his third championship, he was considered the greatest player ever. Right? Now, you have Kareem sitting on 6, but you got Mike sitting on 3. But it wasn't about that. It was about the skill level, the competitive aspect. It was about winning. It was about winning too, but it was more about who he was on the court, the fear he struck in people's eyes, the level of respect that people had for him as a basketball player, that, yo, that's the best player to ever do it. And the players said that. You know what I'm saying? So it was different. Like, a lot of times you have the media saying that. Just like with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The players said that about Kareem. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just the media, it was the players. So we are always supposed to listen to what the players say of who's the best in the game. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe had that. When Kobe was in the 2000s, Kobe had that. You know what I'm saying? You ask the players was like, Bean. You know what I'm saying? Jelly Bean. Kobe. Mamba. The closer. Whatever you call them, they thought that highly of Kobe. The same way they saw Mike.
15-year veteran.
This is before stat nerds took over the game. Now the media gets to dictate who's the best in the league.
If Kobe Bryant was running ahead of schedule, much of his early growth occurred in a place and culture far from the playgrounds of America.
Back in time, and a culture that is
like
very rich.
A lot of traditions. Less offense.
Italy is a country that I always say is full of history. We have thousands of years of history, culture.
It wasn't the hustle bustle of America. It was a little bit more laid back and much more relaxed.
A lot of family values in the sense that you eat every meal together. You really get close to your families.
You're having lunch together every day. You're having dinner together every day. The whole family, you do things together. Italy, it's a family. It's a thing.
That's a culture we need here in America, man. We have so many broken homes, man. If you think about it, these kids are growing up on their own. You know what I'm saying? So that family culture, the Italian culture, needs to come here.
Important of all.
In 1984, Joe Bryant, who played 8 seasons in the NBA, took his wife Pam and their 3 children to Italy to play professional basketball. Kobe, their only son, was 5.
They took a lot of the best attributes of Italian life and applied them to their own family. They spent a lot of time having meals together, going out sightseeing, going out for walks, going to their father's basketball games.
A lot of American players, when they come over here and play, they leave the family in the United States. While Joe brought everybody over here, integrated them in the Italian schools.
My family and I really had to bond together. You go to us, it's like a whole other world. You don't speak the language. You don't know anybody out there. So all you have is one another. As a result, I've become very, very loyal.
Jelly Bean Bryant, who averaged 30 points over 7 seasons, flourished in the exuberant culture of the
That nigga was busting people's ass overseas.
Italian League.
The fans in Italy are very passionate. They throw coins, bid at people, just
niggas throw coins. That shit's crazy, bro. Hey, one of them coins hit me, bro, it's on, man. I don't give a fuck. I don't know how to speak Italian, but I know how to speak crazy, nigga. Don't touch me with that motherfucking food, coins, none of that shit, bro. You better put that shit down.
Playing out of the line.
The basketball was very different from the NBA. We were now playing 1 game a week and having the rest of the week to just practice a couple hours a day, enjoy your time with your family, explore a new country, and just kind of enjoy life.
Jelly Bean Bryant was a role player who came off the bench. His NBA career was a moderate career, and I think that he felt that he could become more of a player.
Y'all check out the Case for Kobe Bryant as the GOATS video. about John Havlicek too that he just did. It's a really good video. I think it's in 1973. He has John Havlicek as the best player in the league. Y'all go check out that video.
In Europe, which he did, he became what they called Magic Bryant. He became a celebrity. He led the league in scoring. Joe and his whole family were kind of idolized all across Italy as a whole.
I remember talking to Kobe. He was able to sing the Italian songs that the fans sang from his father in perfect Italian.
Growing up in the glow of his father's stardom, Kobe learned firsthand what it takes to live in a fishbowl.
He was very mature for the age. He was always very polite, very educated, always talking with a low voice, never angry. He was always walking with his head up, with a lot of self-esteem.
We were visiting his family at his home. Kobe came running inside the house and up the stairs. 10 seconds later, he came running back in the house again. He was running upstairs, jumping out of the second-story window into the lawn, and running around like it was a game.
One time, he went to an MC Hammer concert, and all the guys on the stage saw him then.
MC Hammer concert.
It was so good that they asked him to go on stage.
This is almost like the first test tube NBA super.
Somebody gotta ask Hammer about that shit.
He learned to play in a sense of isolation. He was thousands of miles away from the Americans. He was playing in a country where soccer was the top sport.
Kobe was a very, very quiet person. He always thought about basketball.
He didn't want to be just like his pop. He wanted to be much better than his pop. He had that drive.
He'd come out on the court during the timeouts and shoot around all the time. He would dribble up and down the court. You had to chase him off the court so we could start the game back.
When we finish practicing, we want to let's play some horse. Let's see who can outshoot who. Let's play some one-on-one.
And as a basketball player, when you're growing up, man, you always want to challenge your big brother. You know what I'm saying? Your dad, your cousins. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's at the park. You want to challenge them because you want to know where you stand. And you want to beat them so you can talk shit. You know what I'm saying?
Stay there. And, it'll be time for the gym manager sometimes. Hey,
bro, it means so much, bro. Like, when you can beat somebody older than you, like a brother, like a father, it means so much to you confidence-wise because you're like, damn, it took me this long, but I got him. I finally got him.
Oh, so I'm going to lock the gym up and go. And here's Kobe and still in there shooting around.
Off the court, Kobe often waited for the mailman to deliver care packages from his grandparents back in the U.S.
Well, they used to send us all types of TV shows, movies, but what I most looked forward to getting was the games. I wanted to see basketball.
We tried to imitate our idols like Larry Bird, like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson.
But he definitely made a study.
So y'all, if y'all are truly Kobe fans out there, you're fans of the game because Kobe was a fan of all the players. You know what I'm saying? He looked at them like superheroes. Wilt Chamberlain's, all those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Kareem, Oscar, Mike. You know what I'm saying? All of the legends, even the role players. You know what I'm saying? He looked at them like some of them as superheroes. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be a fan of the game. If you're a fan of Kobe Bryant, you're a fan of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Because when Magic was there, they watch videotapes together, and his father would say, "Look at Magic, kid. See how he sets up the sky."
We watched Kind of Fly With Me maybe 1,000 times. It was more studying the video, studying everything of Jordan.
In December of 1991, the Bryants moved back to the States, settling in a suburb of Kobe's native Philadelphia. A year later, he entered Lower Merion High School, where his star not only began to rise, it rocketed.
The Mamba was born at Lower Merion High School, bro. He was busting people's ass. I think he still holds some records for the Philadelphia area too.
I had heard a lot about this youngster who at the time was 13 years old. I invited him to scrimmage against our varsity. After 5 minutes of play against my varsity, I turned to my assistant coaches and I said, "This kid's a pro."
Kobe learned so much from his father. on the court. Just little things that only his dad.
And you could tell, like, when niggas going to the next level and you're playing against them, you can tell. Like, everybody knows it. You're like, oh shit, that move he did was like an NBA move. Like, oh shit. Like, this dude plays like he's, you know what I'm saying? He don't play like he's 15. This nigga plays like he's 25.
Professional basketball player could have taught him, like pinching you in the ribs to get a rebound, or elbowing you in the right spot, or holding your jersey.
As Lower Merion's JV coach, Joe Bryant concentrated on his son's every move on the varsity.
His father would yell something out in Italian, and he would kind of glance over at his father, nod his head, and then do something nasty on the floor.
Oh, no!
Hey!
Kobe Bryant is for real?
The first year here, they were 4-20, something like that. But he started. He was the first freshman starter here at Lower Bryant High School in maybe 2 or 3 decades.
John Lucas, who at the time was coaching the Sixers, started coming to a lot of our games. Kobe got invited by John to scrimmage at St. Joe's University with some of the current Sixers.
He and Stackhouse played one-on-one like guys. He played with all our guys, and Kobe was always, and it didn't work out. So Kobe showed up. He beat everybody. I said, the guy's a pro.
Averaging 31 points and 12 rebounds.
Beating pros, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude was serious.
Bryant took Lower Merion into the state playoffs, only to get knocked out in the semifinals. The taste of defeat was bitter.
We were in the locker room, the whole team was crying. He said, I hate this feeling. He said, you know, man, next time we stop playing basketball, it's because there's no games left.
Bryant started his senior season with 2 goals. One was to win the state championship. The other was less public and considerably more ambitious.
The first day of practice, Kobe was reaching and grabbing and clutching a lot on defense. Kobe's first reaction when I was getting on him about reaching was, I'm getting ready to play pro defense.
That nigga on some other shit, though. Imagine telling your high school coach, hey, I'm about to go play against the pros, bro. You can't tell me shit.
The best player in the country, they know he's gonna go pro. Everybody wanted to go and see Kobe play.
That's
Everybody.
Our games turned into sellouts
and the pros back then, like to the reason why I laughed is because if you know anything about back then, you didn't just come in and start right away in the pros if you were Kobe's age. Like, them dudes were physical, they were big. We're talking about big forwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about man-to-man defense. You had to guard your position. You know what I'm saying? These dudes were huge, muscular, grown men, grown-ass men. And so for Kobe to look at him and as a shooting guard and say he's about to go pro, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's big, bro.
Scalping and people offering $1,000 for tickets to the state championship game. It was similar to traveling with a rock star.
It's so packed where you have people standing up on the side, people in the hallway looking into the game, NBA scouts, college scouts.
We had to stand like 4 rows of people deep, standing. Couldn't get real like it in the stands.
All the top schools in the country would just come in. Every day the coach would come with a new basketball letter from another team.
Kobe would get them at the end of school, and we'd all sort of sit out in this corridor hanging out. And Kobe would just give out letters to whoever, unopened letters.
After leading the Aces to the 1996 state championship, Bryant added a new dimension to his celebrity by taking TV and recording star Brandy to his prom. Meanwhile,
that shit was a big deal back then, bro. When he took Brandy to the prom, everybody's mouth was like, oh. Like, Kobe's a celebrity, bro. Like,
colleges knocked on his door, but Bryant was looking to live his dream.
For you younger guys out there, Brandy was big back in the 90s. Big. You know what I'm saying?
Sooner rather than later.
He really believed at the time, even at like 18, 19 years old, if I enter the NBA right now, I will be one of the 10 best players in the league.
Jordan and Barkley were getting older at the time, and it was one of his dreams to step onto the court and square off against players of that caliber.
Now, I remember reading something.
And he didn't want to miss them, bro. He did not want to miss them at all, bro. Kobe wanted to face that comp.
Playing against professional players when he was in high school, and that kind of triggered an idea. Of course, Kevin Garnett made the jump. That kind of helped me out a little bit as well.
Widely acclaimed as the finest prep player in the nation. Kobe Bryant can play basketball at any college in the country.
I don't think there's no rush to get into the pros. I think that's his dream. I mean, what's rushing your dream?
He made a call to me to ask me, should I go? I think about going to NBA. And I just said, yeah, what did your father say? He said, Father said, go for it. I said, well, then you need to go for it.
Hey, Rich Paul. Look who said this first. Rich Paul. You paying attention, nigga?
No, I had decided to skip college and take my time to the NBA.
He had his sunglasses on, his top of his head.
So for all you clowns out there who saying LeBron said that shit first, you a motherfucking lie. It was Kobe Bryant.
It was a little much. You know, here's a 17, 18-year-old kid kind of acting like he's Michael Jordan already.
For the next week, 98% of the calls going on sports radio and on the TV reports were, this is the dumbest thing we've ever heard. Why is this kid doing that? I can't believe he's giving him a chance.
These babies could use more time at the crib. That's why I say it was a grown man's league back then, bro.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime. I feel it's time for me to go out and season while I'm still young.
Like niggas, like it was a big thing for niggas to go to college, bro. Remember, Jordan came out of college, right? So whenever they compare Kobe's game, they compare him to Tim Duncan. Oh, look what Tim Duncan did when he came out. Tim Duncan went to college for years. But Jordan went to college. So they did better. They did better when they first came in the league because they were older players. You know what I'm saying? They were a little bit older than Bean. Bean was 17 going on 18 going into the NBA. So, of course, he's not going to produce like those guys. You know what I'm saying? Because they're older than him. So that's the reason why stats are a little deceiving. Even though Michael Jordan is not your average rookie and Tim Duncan is not your average rookie. Those are awesome players. But it's context that these niggas leave out. He was the youngest shooting guard to ever come out of high school. To come out, period. Matter of fact. You know what I'm saying?
Point in time, the high school kids had really not been a part of the process of identifying NBA players. The guy coming out of high school straight into the NBA was almost a joke.
We don't want them in the NBA. People don't want to babysit 18 and 19-year-old kids.
You got a lot of guys thinking that they're ready for the NBA. But they really should go to college. If you really have the talent, the college game will only enhance what you have.
My first thought was really that you'd like to see something
it's a double-edged sword, right? Because sometimes you can get hurt in college and never make it to the league. You know what I'm saying? Like Zion almost fumbled the bag when he fucked up his was it ankle? He rolled his ankle and his shoe fell off or whatever. If Zion would have fucking got injured and like a serious injury, like bro, like it would have fucked up all his money for him and his family. You know what I'm saying? You look at Kyrie Irving, when he got injured, he didn't come back. He said, fuck this shit. I'm just going to declare to go to the NBA.
Kobe get a couple of years of seasoning in college so that he doesn't have to spend as much time on the bench and he would grow a bit.
Kobe being in the NBA environment virtually all his life with his dad and the cultural adjustments of growing up in Europe gave him a comfort zone that I don't think you'd find many teenagers would have. This is a kid who's smart, he's lived abroad, he's very comfortable with himself. If this kid doesn't go to college, who does?
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets.
My nigga went 13, not because he wasn't talented, it's because people did not believe in 18-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? People did not play young kids. You know what I'm saying? Kerry Kittles went above Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Because he played in college. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about who was the better player. It was about who was ready to contribute right then, right now. You know what I'm saying?
Select Kobe
and who was more proven at a higher level.
Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
After I was drafted, I went to phone with the accountants and he's like, well, you don't have too much use for you here in Charlotte, so we're taking a trade, to Los Angeles. Okay, all right.
So Dave Cowens didn't want him, right? Got rid of his ass. You know what I'm saying? Said, hey, we don't need you. Shit's crazy, bro. Don't need Kobe?
Before the draft, the Lakers showed more than a passing interest in Bryant.
Just got a chance to just do some drill work with him.
And then Jerry West says, Kobe, let's go down a little close and work him out there. So I start guarding Kobe, and all of a sudden he's hitting me with all these elbows as he's turning. We knew then that he was going to be a good player.
West, Kobe. And y'all know who that is. That's Michael Cooper, one of the greatest defenders of all time. He guarded everybody, right? I believe Coop had defensive player of the year. Just a great defender, right? Kobe was killing him in practice. And although he was a little bit older, you know what I'm saying? To have an 18-year-old kid going at a savvy veteran, great defender like Michael Cooper and getting the best out of him, that's big.
Right afterwards, he said, Chick, I got a guy I gotta have.
Chick Hearn.
I said, who was it? He told me his name. I said, I never heard of it. He says, just coming out of high school. I said, you gotta be crazy.
The thing that most impressed me about him was his ability to articulate the reasons why he wanted to play in the league.
We get a chance to spend some interview time with him behind closed doors, and all the questions we hit him with, he answered them appropriately, wasn't shy, was very candid about a lot of things.
15 days after the draft, the Lakers acquired Bryant in a trade for their starting center, Vlade Divac.
He knew that he could be a great player at this level, but it's your mental toughness that's going to keep you in the league, and if you keep yourself healthy, that makes you a superstar.
Armed with sensational ability, a blistering work ethic, and a social sophistication beyond his 18 years, Kobe Bryant hit the City of Angels, where young stars often vault to the top or burn out in mid-flight.
Always been looked at as one of the elite teams going back from the Will Chamberlain and Jerry West days, and the Showtime years with Magic Johnson and Worthy and those guys.
The first time I met him, he was thrilled to death, because he remembered us back in the day playing, put that like a uniform on.
Him and Barbara Scott were like brothers too. Go listen to Barbara Scott's podcast. He always celebrates Kobe. You know what I'm saying? He loved that boy, man, because that was his rookie.
Probably the most exciting day of his life.
Physically, when he got here, he was as good or better than anyone he played against. He had great size, great ball handling ability, great speed and quickness.
After we finished practice, he wanted to go probably play at Venice Beach. Kobe just finished an NBA practice. You don't need to go play the game. He wanted to go to high schools and play. He wanted to go to UCLA and play.
That's the love of the game that's missing. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of these guys, they don't want to play during the summertime. You know what I'm saying? They just want to play during the regular season, go home, not put the extra work in. That's why I respect guys who are playing all year round. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying? Playing in all these summer leagues. Guys like Jamal Crawford, guys like KD. You got Kyrie Irving in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? You got all these guys, and there's a lot of guys who do it. But you got all these guys competing in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? And that is the love of the game. And that is honing your skills and getting better, because when they double team you, right? I know Devin Booker was complaining about this, but bro, when they double team you, that's practice to help you deal with double teams, because you're going to see that in the season. You're definitely going to see that shit in the playoffs. If you're not going to just go off and average 40, you know what I'm saying, without seeing the double team. So, you're going to get double teamed. That's where you work and hone your skills against all the other players. It doesn't help to just go against a player and play just one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? You need to be playing 5-on-5 against other pros.
Definitely was still play.
Even in practice, really, if you are going to do one-on-one, you need to be doing one-on-one against pros with physical defense on you. Not bullshit half-stepping type defense. You're never going to get better that way.
Heard the ball bouncing in the form and the lights went off. And I walk past and I look in there and it's Kobe. He's in there in the dark shooting.
Accustomed to being alone after a childhood in which he moved many times, Bryant suffered the pangs of an emotional solitude defined by age or lack of it.
Kobe came to the Lakers. I was 36 years old and he was 18, so I'm looking at this kid saying, this kid could be mine.
I didn't have anything in common with these guys. There's nothing to talk about. I was more focused on the game of basketball.
It was tough to get a feel for Kobe because you couldn't compare yourself, or you couldn't empathize with what he was going through.
The difficult part about young kids jumping into
it's never been done before, and that's what people don't understand. What he did was never done before by any guard in the history of the NBA. First ever shooting guard to leave from high school to the NBA, bro. You know what I'm saying? Never been done.
This world, because it's
people criticize him for earlier in his career, but like, bro, he made history.
Really a man's world, the NBA, and obviously you might be able to play it athletically, but it's a mental thing and it's a social aspect that you have to deal with.
He just seemed to be a loner. He wasn't one of those guys that wanted to hang out all the time. Too young to go to bars and all that stuff.
If you didn't speak to Kobe first, he may not speak. And at first I was kind of taken aback by that and almost offended.
He wasn't ready to shy away from his teammates. He's just used to being alone. He got along with everybody, but at the same time, I don't think he really wanted to attach himself to somebody. One of the players told me that they were told not to touch him. He was not to be hazed and not to be pushed, and it came from the top, and that caused some animosity.
And that's true, man. Hey, Kobe had that swag, man. They had so much stock in him. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to destroy his confidence, or you know what I mean, like shit like that. So they wanted Kobe to have that swag, and he walked in there with that swag. You know what I'm saying? And guys resented that.
He's got endorsement contracts coming in already. He's got an Adidas deal. There's going to be jealousy
Those
factor.
grown men barely making the league, bro. They mad as fuck about that shit. Them niggas are hating.
There's the second he walks through the door. And so they're talking behind Kobe's back some while they're kind of teasing him. You know, Shaq's calling him Showboat.
Showboat played a good game for his first game.
I really look forward to going out.
Autograph Showboat, Bryant. I've been watching it a long time, man.
Shaq's fucking hilarious, dog.
He kind of liked that name. You know, I don't think he understood that some guys say that you're kind of representing trying to be one-on-one and trying to do everything on his own.
Kobe was a little bit different because he had the game that no one on the Laker team had. He played the game with a real flair, and sometimes there was a little too much.
Hey, guess what? That Showboat helped Shaq win 3 straight championships. Without that Showboat, Shaq's ass would be at home.
Mustard on the hot dog.
He would make a big play. Guys wouldn't be applauding. No one would come and greet him. There was no congratulations. The feeling was, hey, you think you're great. You think you're going to step on us to be great. We'll watch, but we're
Shout
not.
out to Rick Bucher, too. He stands up for Kobe a lot against these clowns in the media, saying outrageous shit. He was there. You know what I'm saying? He covered
For you. There's a pecking order in the NBA, and Kobe was just trying to do what he did in high school and not understanding that you have 4 other players that can get it done.
It was a learning curve, right? Like, people want to kill this dude for coming out of high school and, like, having that learning curve of, hey, you can't just take over games by yourself. You know what I'm saying? It was a huge learning curve. Nobody else had to deal with that type of shit. And people criticize him saying, oh, he's this way, he's that way. Bro, he came straight out of high school, bro. Like, for real, bro. Like, he was a kid trying to realize his dream. And, of course, he didn't know what everything was like. Even though his dad was in the league, he didn't know what everything was like. You know what I'm saying? So he had to adjust.
Really, I was more trying to prove myself as an individual basketball player. Not really thinking about my teammates or trying to lead them. Because that wasn't my role.
It was obvious that he was going to be
And it wasn't his role. You know what I'm saying? He's coming off the bench. So, you know, when he's coming off the bench, of course, you're a bench player. Bro, you're trying to get yours so you can prove you can start. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of was in an awkward position. I mean, I understand Eddie Jones starting over him in the beginning, but he was in an awkward position, bro, because he has to still play well. And so he's trying to show off his gifts with his expectations being Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying?
But first couple of years, he made more turnovers than he did assists. He was a little bit too aggressive to shoot the basketball.
You got to give this dude's a clown, bro. You got to give people a chance to fail, bro. Like, I mean, I understand the predicament Del Harris was in, though, to a degree, because you did have a playoff team and they were winning games. But the problem with Del Harris is sometimes you gotta let people make mistakes in order for them to learn, bro. You can't have this much of a talent wasting away on the bench. That's why his ass got fired.
He viewed himself as a player who could come in and make an immediate impact. That's not going to happen for any high school kid.
We had a lot of people that could not stand Kobe Bryant. Daryl Harris wouldn't allow him to make fancy moves in practice. If he made a spectacular move, Daryl wouldn't even
And even when you look at the later high school kids to come in, the LeBrons, the Dwights and stuff, they played well, but it took them a while to catch on. You know, they weren't fantastic their rookie seasons. They were good. They were good. They were upcoming, but they weren't 27 points per game, 25 points per game, not even 24 points per game. You know what I'm saying? It takes that learning curve. You know what I'm saying? You got to give them leeway in that learning curve so they can be great. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be all NBA first team, all NBA first team defense. It doesn't happen that way. They're not going to make the all-star team first year normally. You know what I'm saying?
And he never got playing time. It was killing him because in his mind, he's doing everything that he's supposed to do to get to that point in his career.
Shout out to Scoop B. Scoop B don't really cap. You know what I'm saying? He's respectful. He's one of my favorite media guys.
That was part of Kobe's frustration as well. You know, being the youngest guy and, you know, almost feeling like his desire was greater than everyone's.
That desire would have its moment in Game 5 of the 1997 Western Conference semifinals against Utah. With the game tied and seconds left, the passionate rookie held the world in his hands.
So Robert Horry actually goes through this game right here in particular, and I think on the Knuckleheads podcast, or was it All of the Smoke? It was one of the podcasts, right? He recently did this interview. Man, Kobe was hotter than fish grease that game. So they felt like they needed to feed him. Bro, this is a rookie. You know what I'm saying? This is a rookie going against Utah. That Utah Jazz team that you guys are looking at right now on the screen went to the NBA Finals that year and played Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So Kobe was a rookie. You had an all-star, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, who wouldn't take those shots. You know what I'm saying? Kobe was the only one who was capable of trying to bring those guys back from a ballsy position. You know what I'm saying? You look at Shaq. Shaq couldn't. One weakness about Shaq's amazing through three quarters. But when it comes close to closing, you can't rely on Shaq. And that's the reason why Shaq's not in the top, in my opinion, right? Top 3 greatest players of all time. And I don't even think Shaq will put himself in there because he knows his deficiencies at the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to really hit jumpers. So yeah.
Nobody else wanted to take that shot. Kobe was the only one to step up and say, I want to take this shot.
A rookie. Y'all hear that? How many rookies take over a game with all-stars on their team? You know what I'm saying?
The Lakers at that particular time was looking for a go-to player. And going back to high school, his ball has been placed in his hands to do one thing, and that's to make something happen.
So the thing is, you have all these all-stars. Think about this shit, right? All these people be talking shit about Kobe in this rookie season. But you got, this is how special Kobe was. You got all these all-stars on this team. You got 3 of them. None of them were trusted to take the last shot. And they're veterans. They're not in their first, second year. They're veterans. Not to diminish them because they were really good players like Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones. Those are good players. And Eddie Jones was my favorite player before Kobe came in, right? It was Magic Johnson, then Eddie Jones, then Kobe, right? But Shaq, you got Shaq, Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones. All 3 are great players, but they weren't trusted in that position. There was no leader, right? Y'all heard it. There was no leader. This is why Shaq turned around and they won 3 in a row, y'all. When Kobe developed into a leader. That's why we say he's the best player on the team, but y'all run the stats. Y'all run to the stats. It's not about stats. It's about impact to us. You know what I'm saying? It's about leadership. It's invaluable. This is leadership, right? This is being trusted to lead your team to the next phase, to the next level. That is leadership right there. When you see that moment with Shaq saying, hey, don't worry, you'll be in this position next year to lead us. That's leadership.
After the game, he was very disappointed in himself. But the one thing I can remember is looking at this kid saying, hey, he's going to come back next year, he's going to be even better.
In 1999, Bryant became a starter, averaging 20 points in the regular season. But his offense was not enough to keep the Lakers from being swept by the Spurs in the playoffs. Enter a new coach, whose insights and powers of persuasion guided the Bulls to a dynasty. Round ball guru Phil Jackson.
This is a team that is talented, it's young, it's on the verge.
And they take the chain. Kobe could have won Six Man of the Year too. When they took the chains off Kobe, Kobe made the All-Star team. You know what I'm saying?
I just had a chance to meet Kobe Bryant. He's dedicated, he's competitive. He reminds me a lot of Michael Jordan, and there's not too many players that have ever done that in this game.
Phil's success as a coach definitely creates a sense of respect amongst the players. You have a guy that's won 6 championships.
And this is the thing, right? Kobe had Phil coming in at that particular time. Kobe had no choice but to respect him because Mike respected him and Kobe looked up to Mike. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the same way like with Kyrie Irving and Phil Handy, right? Kyrie Irving listened to Phil Handy. I remember Phil Handy said this. Kyrie kind of blew him off when he called him. But then he got Kobe to talk to Kyrie. And then that made Phil Handy and Kyrie's relationship a lot better because Kyrie looked up to Kobe. He looked up to Bean. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the same way Kobe looked up to Mike. And because he looked up to Mike, he had an utmost respect for Phil Jackson because he saw them win championships.
Over to that format.
Jackson was unbelievably demanding of Kobe. He understood right away that this is a guy who's so tough and so strong that I can really go after him and he can handle it.
And Phil Jackson pushed Kobe as far as he could push him because he knew what he had. He said, man, I gotta put pressure on this diamond.
Your lust to score and you have this ego problem that's getting in the way of the game, then you're going to have trouble. He's got too many players that he disrespect if he did it.
Phil's known as the master of mind games. Kobe looked at Phil when that became an issue and said, just coach. Just tell me what to do. You don't have
Kobe was tired of the bullshit. Phil would go around the bush with niggas.
Have to manipulate me. You don't have to motivate me. I'm in first gear, ready to go.
In Game 7 of the 2000 Western Conference Finals against the Trailblazers, Bryant posted 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. But it wasn't stats that defined his maturity. It was poise in crunch time.
You hear that? You hear that? And also to add on to that, I think he had a good game 5 too as well. I'm gonna cover that Portland series, y'all. We're gonna get into it. You know what I'm saying?
You look at the dynamics of that play, and Kobe was trying to crash through the defense like he always had before. Beat
that nigga crossed the shit out of Scottie Pippen. Man, people overlook that crossover, dog. He crossed the shit out of Scottie.
Guys and dunk it in everybody's face, but the difference was that he had learned that that's not the way to win it.
After eliminating the Blazers, the Lakers held a 2-1 lead over Indiana in the NBA Finals. Having sat out Game 3 with a sprained ankle, Bryant played in Game 4 and took over after Shaquille O'Neal fouled out with 2.5 minutes
we just
left.
went through that. Y'all go watch my watch party that I had for that game. We went through that 2 days ago. A couple of days ago, we went through that. Go watch that video.
In overtime.
Kobe's looking over at the big fellow on the bench saying, don't worry about the thing, man. I got it.
Kobe just literally takes the whole game and just puts it on his shoulder.
How good is this kid? That was the performance that, up until that time, really, you'd only seen a player like Michael Jordan do. People in the stands in Indiana talk about, who is that guy wearing number 8? Is that 23 and all of a sudden he changed jerseys?
That was incredible closing. You know, for a young guy, that's incredible, you know, being able to close out a veteran team like the Pacers.
Now no one's going to skirt around, is he Michael Jordan, is he the next or anything? Well, he's the next.
The 2000 NBA Finals served to help heal the relationship between Kobe and his teammates, and it led to some early belief that everything was
They
fine.
ain't had no choice but to get over that shit, man. You see a nigga save your ass like that, you gotta love him.
But throughout Kobe and Shaq's tenure together at Los Angeles, the old ghosts have a tendency to revisit.
When opposites attract, you respect what is different about the other person. And with Shaq and Kobe, there wasn't that.
Shaquille and Kobe are very different personalities. Shaquille's very playful, and Kobe's a more serious person.
While Shaq is the older one and the bigger one, Kobe is by far the most mature and reserved. That's the way they approach basketball in a lot of ways. Shaq would look at Kobe and say, lighten up. And Kobe would look at Shaq and say, get serious.
There was a team meeting, and Shaquille O'Neal spent a lot of time saying, we cannot win with Kobe Bryant.
And you know it's funny? That's funny because Shaq ain't won before. He's never won before, Kobe Bryant. So that's a funny statement to come from Shaq. I know Kobe looking at that nigga like, oh, what was your playoff success before me? Oh, right.
Of course, Kobe's sitting right there, and he took it.
Kobe was very young and impulsive. Shaq just felt that he didn't really understand the importance of team play, the importance that Shaq played with the team.
These hard feelings built up over time. During a 2-on-2 pickup game, Shaq slapped Kobe. It was obvious that this was something that would never be forgotten. It was a hard moment.
Such episodes, not all of them with O'Neal, have tended to drive Bryant to achieve ever higher levels of play.
And make no mistake about it, Shaq and Kobe were brothers. They had a disagreement on the court. They made amends, which we will cover in the future in the interview. They made amends. They're good. You know what I'm saying? There's no ill will. Shaq loved Kobe, even though, you know, he had a situation with him.
For winning an NBA championship, he hardly took a breath before steeling himself for the next season.
I remember him saying he took 2 weeks off and went right back to training for the next year. Now that's amazing. Supposed to sit back and let people pat you on your back. He was right back in the gym.
Everybody on the team sort of had a bigger ego because they were champs. They all believed that their way is the right way.
Therein lies the adjustment, handling the success of a championship and putting the egos aside once again with the understanding that it's a team concept.
I felt like it was really my job to make sure the team was moving in the right direction and to really become more of a vocal leader.
Shaq comes in,
So he wanted to be more of a vocal leader because before he was more of a lead by example guy, lead by play. But and I'm talking about like leading in the fourth quarter and things like that. Now he wants to be more of a hey, do this, hey, do that type of leader. You know what I'm saying? And that shit comes with time because guys gotta trust you first. And he had to earn that shit. You know, Shaq was more playful, gregarious, wanted to be cool with everybody, and Kobe was the opposite.
He's gonna kind of cruise through the regular season, and Kobe comes in, he's been shooting jump shots every day, every hour, every minute.
Kobe said, okay, I can either reward myself for all the things I've done, or I can give it to this guy who can't get up and down the court and who they're going to foul at the end of the game. So tell me what I'm doing wrong here.
Sometimes I wish he was a little bit more diplomatic.
Kobe's going to be Kobe. That's the one thing I've learned, I respect about him. He's very opinionated. He's very honest.
Things finally hit their low point between Kobe and Shaq in January 2001. ESPN magazine's just done its major story on Kobe, in which Kobe expresses some of his frustrations at trying to fit in, wanting to turn his game up, not down, and it all blows up when that story hits.
And see, Shaq would always get jealous of the other stars, right? That's why when he finally went to Miami, he made it known, hey, Dwayne, this is your team, I'm going to move back. Because with Penny, he fucked that up. And with Kobe, he fucked that up because Shaq wanted to go out of his way to say, hey, this is my team. But even though Kobe was coming up and rising, bro, Shaq was getting older. Shaq was still great, but he was the older guy. He's been in the league longer than Kobe, right? And Shaq still wanted people to pay attention to him because I think Shaq loves attention, right? So So Bean's looking at this nigga like, bro, I'm not gonna keep holding my game back to keep giving you the ball down low. Like, you know, it's smart to give you the ball down low. Don't get me wrong, but I want to show people what I got. You know what I'm saying? They're comparing me to Mike, and I want to see what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, bro. I ain't gonna keep holding back my game, and you know, you getting all the credit and I'm a sidekick and all this other shit when I'm clearly not. You know what I'm saying? I'm your equal.
Rick, the outcome is good. With a big dog named me, then the house will get guarded. Period. People wanted me to just kind of level off my play, and I improve and just do the same thing I did last year. And I'm not going to do that, and I work too hard, and I improve as a basketball player every day, and I want to show that I improve.
Shaq told me I'm too big.
So you got a guy who's not really working that hard, not training that hard, just going off of his physical gifts and his natural ability. And then you got Bean, who's in the gym relentlessly. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to take a seat back. But the other guy, you know, I understand it. You know, Shaq's the most dominant force in basketball. I understand it. But you can't keep expecting this dude to keep taking back seats. You know what I'm saying? The dude's about to go into his 4th year. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to come into his own.
To ride in the backseat of anybody else's car.
Kobe called other teams and said, you know, is there any way that a trade can be arranged?
Phil Jackson just stepped back. He still allowed Kobe to be himself, and he allowed Shaq to be himself. And when they did clash and bump heads, he let them figure it out for themselves.
You almost get the impression that the two guys just can't stand to be in the same
Or
room.
5th year, I'm sorry, 5th year.
Together. And it's just not that way. It's almost like a family situation, like a big brother, younger brother situation where there are good days, there are bad days. I remember having the same problems with Magic. We had different personalities, but we were able to communicate. We didn't have to be like best of friends. And the same thing with Kobe. We had our moments where it was hard to play with one another, but we never disliked one another.
It wasn't so much that Kobe had to develop a relationship with Shaq as he had to develop a relationship with that entire team. Kobe had always kept to himself.
I can remember time and time again him getting a new CD. Either before or after practice, he would sit in his car and just listen to the CD all the way through. Spend hours and hours just listening to music in his car. A couple of times he would have his earphones on and no music just to hear what people are saying. Guys on the team.
They probably talking cash shit like, yo, this nigga ain't shit. This nigga ain't Mike. Bro, who does this nigga think he is, bro? He ain't Mike. Nigga, you got 1 championship. What about us?
Question whether or not Kobe really wanted to be a part of our group and wanted to do what was best for not only him but for our team.
He plunged into very, very dark mood. He told me that the thing that was really tough, it was just very difficult to have worked so hard to be as good as he could be and to be misperceived by so many people as such a selfish, arrogant, internally focused person.
In the spring of 2001, Bryant, hampered by a sore left ankle, began to slowly surface from his grim-minded self-determination.
You got to sit back and watch, and that's
Hey, you know, that's why I say Kobe was always injured. Like, Kobe was injury prone. I keep telling people this. I said Kobe was injury prone. The difference between him and other guys is he played through it. You know what I'm saying? He never sustained a serious injury, but a lot of injuries were real bad that he played through. You know what I'm saying? Real painful.
The maturity factor came in.
I started to open up more to my teammates. I felt like I could trust them more, and vice versa. And you could see Kobe interacting with more guys on the bus, on the plane. You could tell that he made an effort to just be more responsive around guys.
Suddenly, they see the personality that he wouldn't let them see before. And he sees that these guys aren't out to get me. Maybe I need to lighten up. And maybe they need to get a little serious. Maybe we can meet halfway.
This offense that Phil Jackson designed, and the first and many times the last option will be Shaquille O'Neal. And I think Kobe's accepted that and understood just how important that is for the success of this team.
Both of them came to realize that they needed each other. Shaq finally said, well, if we're going to have a championship team, I'd like to have Kobe Bryant on my club. And Kobe recognized that if we were going to have a good championship team, that Shaq had to be there.
One particular meeting, he stood up and said,
he cared about everybody on his team, and he said, I love Shaq like a big brother, and always
That's
have.
right.
And, I just want to go out and play.
And it was great to see them patch it up, man, right before Kobe died, man. Because they had went back and forth over and over again throughout the years. And I'm glad they squashed it and got to sit down. You know what I'm saying? I think that was great. Just in Kobe's last years, I think that was great for him. You know what I'm saying? To know Shaq loved them and that it wasn't no ill will or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Shaq needed that too. You know what I'm saying? To move on. You know what I'm saying? Closure.
Have fun and win.
Because if Kobe had died and they never had that sit down, I think it would hurt Shaq.
I'm sure he's playing phenomenal. I think he's the best player in the league by far.
We're very good friends.
So what Shaq think? He thought Kobe was the best player in the league, right? And it wasn't based on stats, right? We didn't judge stats like that back then. You know what I'm saying? Even though Shaq had incredible stats, right? He was a force. He always believed Kobe. He believed Kobe was the best player in the world because what he was able to do, closing games and on both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? Same thing I saw.
Actually, we enjoy playing together.
Only haters deny this because they want to, or either they're haters or they're stat nerds. You know what I'm saying? They're stat junkies where the bigger the numbers, they go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of looking at intangibles don't mean anything to these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's all about numbers.
And to the point where sometimes Phil has to get on us because we're playing too much together. Our friendship has grown tremendously.
With Bryant and O'Neal playing together, the Lakers dominated the 2001 playoffs, winning a record 15 of 16 games on their way to a second straight NBA title.
And that's why, to me, the greatest team to ever play. You know what I'm saying? I know there's other teams, but to me, I feel like that's the greatest team ever. I think Iverson caught them off guard. He wasn't supposed to win that game. They had a lot of games off. You know, it's not an excuse, but they had a lot of games off. They kind of took Philly for granted. And Iverson came in there with the heart of a lion and took that shit from him. But I do believe this is the greatest team ever. Best 1-2 punch ever, like Shaq would say. And imagine Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain playing on the same team. It was incredible, bro. We didn't believe back then anybody could beat them. We just did it. You know what I'm saying? In any game.
What animosity? It must have been a farce because I didn't see any of it in the playoffs. Those two were in sync, on the same page, every game.
They use their competitiveness to bring everybody else together to fight for that one common goal, which is winning.
And you know, a lot of guys now they're trying to compare Giannis and Damian Lillard to Kobe and Shaq. We'll see. It's not going to be the same because Damian Lillard don't bring the defense Kobe brought, and Giannis is a force, but he's not Shaq. But we'll see. It's a different look, but it's a better comparison than James Harden, Joel Embiid. That shit was terrible. You know what I'm saying? They compared James Harden to Kobe. They need to stop doing that shit. Now James Harden is great offensively, but he's nowhere near the athlete Kobe was, the defender Kobe was, just the tenaciousness and the heart. And the ability to turn it up in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So they need to cut that shit out. You know what I'm saying?
Back-to-back titles for the Los Angeles Lakers.
It takes two to make the thing go right.
He's more open now as a person because of his success. And once again, just growth and maturity. He's definitely a different ball player, a better basketball player. But what I found out is that the game of basketball has really been a great teacher of life, unending challenges, teamwork, doing things together.
Doesn't let anybody know that he wants to. He doesn't work out most of the time with the Lakers. He works out at different gyms, just so nobody is aware of that. Kobe is a guy that if you ask him, he'll talk to you about certain things, but almost gives you the impression that he's going to take care of his and his space, and you take care of yours. And when it's time for us to come together, we will.
I got Kobe to go out in Miami. He was engaged, he was talking, he was cool, and then he went south. So what if I know, it's cool. I said, man, he was like, no, what if I gotta go back? I got training in the morning. Come on, dog. I told you 1 o'clock.
His dedication to the game of basketball is unparalleled, bro. Like, even at a young age, this dude doesn't want to hang out. Like, how many of y'all, like, seriously, how many of y'all when y'all were younger was that dedicated to something? You know what I'm saying? Where you ain't hanging out with your friends say, hey, come on, let's hang out here. Let's go to the club. Let's go party. Let's go to the movies. How many of y'all are just, nope, I'm good. I'm going to do my schoolwork. Or I'm going to hang out. I'm going to practice. You know what I'm saying? And get up, not only do it, but get up at 3 in the morning and do it. You know what I'm saying? Religiously, nonstop. Shit's crazy, bro.
Basketball as kids, like, that's all he ever wanted to do. I asked him, like, I think it was, what was the greatest Christmas present you ever got? And he went back, he said, I remember I got my first leather official NBA basketball.
That nigga's a weirdo, bro. What's the best Christmas present you ever got? This nigga saying basketball. I would have slapped that basketball in Kobe's hand. Nigga, god damn it. Play video games. Do something else. Do something, bro. Go roller skating, bro. Play Monopoly. Damn it with this fucking basketball shit. That nigga love basketball, bro.
For years, he slept with that basketball.
Sit back on the couch.
And you want some other shit, you sleep with a basketball. You want some other shit.
Drinking some water. He takes the cap. He sees the wastebasket. Tries to fire. It's probably 30 feet. He misses. He spent the next 3 hours. Everything else is out the window. He tried 100 times. He finally nails it. And he throws up his hands. I win. In 1990,
that nigga was maniacal with playing basketball, bro. Like he had a sick obsession with that shit, bro. I think Kobe would marry a basketball. If it wasn't for Vanessa, that nigga would got married to a basketball. That shit's crazy, bro.
After a very disappointing season, I asked him what he was going to do in the off season. He said, basketball. There is nothing else. 3 years later, I posed the question, has your life changed? He said, very much. I'm a married man now. I'm just learning what it means to be a husband, and someday I'll learn what it means to be a father. And I'm very much focused on basketball.
Salute to the Bryants, RIP to Gigi, and salute to the Bryants, bro.
But I see the bigger picture.
At a secret ceremony in Dana Point, California in April of 2001, Bryant married 19-year-old Vanessa Lane.
Kobe's a classic control freak. We were going to report that he had gotten married. He successfully hidden it from everybody, and he was extremely upset because he felt like he had the situation kind of under control.
How the fuck is that being a control freak? You don't want people in your business. I don't get it.
He's seen what
this dude's weird.
Mass invasion of privacy can do. He's very much a family-oriented guy, and he's not going to let them be dragged into the newspapers.
I asked him, I said, why you get married so young? He said, I do everything young. I went pro young. I'm going to have my children young. We're retired, 28 years old. Then go to Italy and play in my own squad. When someone dies, they go live for today, tomorrow's not promised. This is the only person that does it.
As a player possessed by his own talent, Kobe Bryant seems to have little feeling for the past. When he returned to Philadelphia to play the 76ers in the 2001 finals, he showed not a wisp of nostalgia.
He just didn't want the distraction of owning up to his own emotions about playing in his hometown. And so he kind of gives some brushing off remarks.
What about going back to Philadelphia? Your old home. I don't really care. I just want to go out there and play, try to do what it takes to win a ball game.
Kobe, anytime he talks about playing on the road, he loves the hostility. He feeds off that. And I don't think it affected him that much in the finals necessarily, but it certainly affected him at the All-Star game.
8 months after defeating the Sixers in the finals, Bryant went home again to Philadelphia for the...
Ooh, them niggas were hating. I remember this shit like it was yesterday, man. They beat... And Allen Iverson was the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the man. And so Philly fans, they snapped on Kobe, bro.
2002 All-Star game. Although he scored 31 points and was named MVP, there was no love lost in Philly.
That's why when Ben Simmons did that fuck shit he did in Philly, I was like, oh, bro, Ben is done. They gonna cook that nigga.
It was so disheartening.
City of brotherly love, my ass.
So disappointing. Yet he stood up there, he acknowledged it, and he handled it with such class and such dignity.
I find it unbelievable. The fans are booing here. Does that hurt your feelings?
My feelings are hurt,
Man, that nigga was about to cry, bro. That shit hurt him to the core because he put on for the city of Philly. Went back when he was playing in high school. You know what I'm saying? But so to come back and them niggas booing you, bro, that had to hurt. Yeah, it hurt anybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's like the equivalent of booing LeBron in Cleveland or booing MJ in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? That shit got to hurt.
They have a good time and my feelings are hurt.
Or booing MJ in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? That shit got to hurt.
He's articulate, and he didn't have that kind of street
All because the nigga won the championship and they lost. You know what I'm saying?
sound to him. He sounded like a guy who came from a prep school in a Philly suburb.
I think people try to pick on Kobe Bryant. I saw him get punched against Portland. People are jealous of Kobe, and they try to take shots at him.
There's just sort of an ethos out there where basketball players are accepted or rejected at the street level. Kobe's not seen as hard enough. Kobe won't wear his hair in braids. Kobe doesn't hang out. So Kobe equals soft.
I didn't grow up in the streets, but I played with a certain attitude, a certain aggression, and a competitive spirit and tenacity.
Now we got a fight! Reggie Miller and Kobe Bryant are going at each other in midcourt. It's a bitch.
Hey, Kobe wasn't street, but Kobe mixed it in with niggas. Fuck it.
Just have emptied, and this is
He said he a man and shit.
a major brawl.
He's going to have to make a stand because when you're really good, people don't like you. He just draw a line in the sand and say, I'm not backing down anymore.
I think it's Kobe trying to stand up as a man now. He wants to let people know that he's not a kid anymore. He's trying to win respect. He wants people to understand that he's not going to back off. And so he's been a little more aggressive.
Jordan was a ruthless competitor, really tough on teammates as well as opponents.
But see, this thing about Kobe not being a hood, Jordan wasn't a hood neither. You know what I'm saying? Jordan was able to be the most feared athlete in NBA history, just about. You know what I'm saying? Him and Kobe. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't all about growing up hood. It's about manhood, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like manhood. Like respect me as a man, bro. You can keep all that street shit. Just respect me. I'll still slap your ass.
He loved to go for the jugular, and I think Kobe fashions himself as that kind of player. Again, it's Kobe going to Jordan's level.
What transpires henceforth is going to be the measure as to whether or not you can compare him to Michael Jordan.
No shorts. Bryant underneath. Oh, good. Kobe Bryant.
I don't think he wants to be the heir apparent. I think he wants to be the next Kobe Bryant. Kids want to say, oh, I want to be like Kobe. And I think that's what he wants.
And that's going to do it for the Kobe Bryant film room. And I couldn't agree with Byron Scott any more than that because, bro, what do we see now? You know, actually his words were kind of prophetic. What do we see now? We see all these kids coming in the league and who they trying to pattern their game after. Who they trying to honor. You know what I'm saying? Who they love. You know what I'm saying? They love Bean. You know, they look up to Bean just the same way Bean looked up to Jordan. And I think that's fitting. And I think that's the beauty about basketball. You know what I'm saying? Because everything came full circle. And so that's going to do it for the Kobe Bryant Film Room, covering this ESPN Classic Sports Century documentary, y'all. I'm going to come out with more stuff. And I hope you guys are enjoying the content, man. I'm trying to get better with the production value. I'm not really great at these things yet. I'm getting better. You know what I'm saying? My videos are progressing. But I take tips. Anything you guys got to say that's going to help me advance, I'm all ears. I'm willing to learn. But this is the Kobe Bryant Film Room, and I'll holla.